Syracuse had to overcome 4 first-half deficits and took the lead going into the second half, but it was the 5th deficit in the second half that proved to be too much. Syracuse fans have seen plenty of legendary running backs wear orange, but today it was an opposing running back who impressed. LSU star Leonard Fournette ran for over 200 yards. Syracuse is no longer home to just the shot clock, but to 2 Final Four teams. Coming up, we'll tell you why one team may not be getting their due. Syracuse is back in action here on Jim Boeheim Court on Wednesday when they host Boston College and look for their first ACC win of the season. Part of his run will take him through Franklin Square. And while he's only running a couple miles today, he says he's happy to get back on his feet. Here at the Carrier Dome, the operations crew is getting ready for the second Syracuse-UVA matchup in as many days. That one will take place on the hardwood. The first one today took place on the lacrosse field. The players might say there wasn't a moral victory, but I definitely got the sense that they were satisfied with their performance. Zaire Franklin even mentioned that the players talked about, we know that Leonard Fournette's going to rip off some big runs on us. It's just a matter of staying in the game and not allowing yourselves to get down about that. Syracuse was away from home on Valentine's Day, but they still felt the love here at Boston College. They beat the Eagles 75-61 in front of a pro-orange crowd. Of all the people in Syracuse cheering Arsenal's win yesterday, a group of fans at Jay Ryan's Pub in downtown may just have cheered the loudest. But they were not the only Premier League fans in the city or even downtown yesterday, as interest in English soccer continues to grow. Breakfast and soccer are on the menu at Jay Ryan's Pub in downtown Syracuse on weekend mornings. That's because the pub is home to the Syracuse Gooners, a supporters group of the English soccer club Arsenal. Doug Farfia started the group this past August.
Our afternoon games, the ones that start 10 and later, we get 15, 20 people usually, sometimes a little bit more depending on the caliber of opposition. This morning, for example, we started at 8:30, so we have a few less.
The group has even already started some unique traditions.
I call it the pillar of assists. I'm a lifelong baseball player, and when a guy's pitching, they put the K's up around the stadium when he's getting like 10, 11 strikeouts, and I figured why not do something similar with Ozil.
Those traditions help make the Gooners an officially recognized supporters group of the Premier League club a little faster than usual.
We were supposed to go through a 6-month probationary period, and they let us be an official chapter in 4 months because they saw we were doing really good things. Jay Ryan's Pub is not the only place in Syracuse to catch a Premier League game on the weekends. In fact, you don't have to walk very far at all to get to the other spot. It's right around the corner at Wolf's Beer Garden. Wolf's opened about 3 months ago. It is where local fans of teams other than Arsenal tend to meet. That means fans of red and blue often watch games together. But this corner of downtown Syracuse is not the only place where interest in the English Premier League has grown. The Premier League's TV ratings in the U.S. are growing every year. Viewership is not as large as the 4 major North American sports, but its average viewer is younger than all 4 of those leagues. NBC Sports renewed its contract with the Premier League for nearly $1 billion in August, in large part because of that audience.
While the ratings might not be there right now and the numbers might not be there now, they're making a prediction that in the future that's going to be there.
If that prediction comes true, Premier League fans in the U.S. will have plenty of reason to cheer. The Gooners are Syracuse's largest supporters group for a Premier League club, but they aren't even the only one that meets at Jay Ryan's. Syracuse's American Outlaws chapter also meets there to watch U.S. men's and women's national team games.
It may not seem like it now, but Peter McCartney did not pick up a lacrosse stick until he was in middle school. He grew up in Colorado, which was not exactly known for its lacrosse when he started playing.
It wasn't really a big deal back then. I was playing a lot of hockey, a lot of soccer, and playing lacrosse maybe 2 months out of the year tops. Now if you look at it, kids are playing year-round at much younger ages than 7th grade.
McCartney's home state is one of the fastest growing states in the country's fastest growing sport. According to a U.S. lacrosse survey, the total number of youth lacrosse players doubled from 2006 to 2014.
But as the sport of lacrosse has grown, players here at SU aren't just from the traditional lacrosse hotbeds. and Coach John Desko says SU and other schools have started to look elsewhere for talent.
Things have changed so much. I mean, you look at the rosters of all these Division I schools, well, 2 and 3 for that matter. The places that the players are coming from, you never would have expected.
Syracuse has players from those unexpected places playing big roles on this year's team. Redshirt junior defender and Texan Brandon Mullins leads the team in caused turnovers, while McCartney's roommate, Henry Schoonmaker, grew up in Oregon and is tied for 5th on the team in goals. And McCartney himself is 3rd on the team with 28 ground balls. The sport's growth has benefited Syracuse, but Coach Desko says it's made recruiting much less familiar.
All the teams that we recruit against, I would look at their rosters, and of their freshmen coming in, there might be 10, 12 players. I knew them all because we recruited them all. Now, out of the 10 or 12, if I see 3 or 4 names that I even recognize, that's a lot.
Going forward, McCartney says he wants to contribute to the sport's continued growth in Colorado.
I hope to eventually return to Colorado and coach myself. If not right away, then in a few years. I'm sure Brandon will do the same thing. Same with Henry. It's definitely something you want to get back to the game. I'd love to get back to kids who want to make it to a place like Syracuse.
And as the game continues to grow, players like McCartney may no longer be the exception to the rule. Marcus White, Citrus TV.
Welcome back to NCC News. I'm Marcus White. Bad news for the Warriors as Steph Curry has a grade 1 MCL sprain and will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. That means he will miss the remainder of the Warriors' first-round series against the Rockets and the start of any potential second-round series. Curry left Saturday's Game 4 late in the first half. The reigning MVP had played in just 1 game in the series before Saturday, missing Games 2 and 3 with an ankle injury. The Warriors had no problem finishing Game 4 without Curry. Golden State set an NBA postseason record with 21 three-pointers in a 27-point victory over the Houston Rockets. Game 5 tips off without Curry Wednesday in Oakland. New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady is once again suspended after a federal appeals court reversed a September decision that overturned his initial suspension. A 3-judge panel for the U.S. 2nd District Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 in favor of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Goodell initially suspended Brady for 4 games for his role in a plan to deflate footballs in a 2014 playoff game. Brady can still appeal to the full 2nd District Court and eventually the Supreme Court. The second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs is nearly set as 3 Central Division clubs find themselves facing elimination tonight. The St. Louis Blues host the defending champion Chicago Blackhawks in a winner-take-all Game 7. The Blues blew a 3-1 lead in Saturday's Game 6 and a 3-1 lead in the series. It's the 3rd time in the last 4 postseasons the Blues have squandered a 2-game lead in a series, and the 2nd time to the Blackhawks. Puck drops at 8:30 in St. Louis. And in Nashville, the Predators host the Ducks, trailing 3-2. The Predators have lost 3 straight games and have not advanced past the first round since 2012. The game gets underway at Bridgestone Arena at 8 p.m. That does it for sports. Tim and Bryce, what do we have coming up next? Syracuse hosting Central Michigan. The Orange fans are excited for the chance to see their team go 3-0. Eric Dungey, he scampers into the end zone for the 4-yard score, giving Syracuse a 10-3 lead late in the first quarter. But Dungey's day would go from great to very bad. Dungey, rolling out to his right, hits Dante Strickland with the pass, and Strickland runs into the end zone for the 25-yard score. Syracuse up 14, but as I said, a bad day for Eric Dungey. He would leave the game with an upper body injury and would not return. Meanwhile, second half, the Central Michigan comeback is on. Devin Spalding runs in from 2 yards out, cutting the lead to 7 with just under 9 minutes to go in the third. And then 7 seconds left in the game. Cooper Rush rolls out, throws up the prayer, and his prayer is answered. Ben McCord with the game-tying touchdown catch with 7 seconds to go, 24-24. Central Michigan stopped on their first possession in overtime, have to settle for the field goal, and the Orange take advantage. Jordan Fredericks takes the pitch from Zach Mahoney and runs in for the 4-yard score. Syracuse wins 30-27, starting 3-0 for the first time since 1991, and they're partying like it's 1991 in the Carrier Dome after this one. Ron Thompson was eaten once again for the Orange defense. He had season highs in sacks, forced fumbles, and tackles for loss, but the rest of the Orange defense struggled. as Kevin Spaulding and Ben McCord had big days. The two combined for 332 all-purpose yards, good enough for nearly 64% of Central Michigan's total offense. But even with the shaky defense and losing Dungy to injury, the Orange were all smiles after the game. Citrus TV's Ben Stevens has more. We do have some highlights for you. The Islanders hosting the Red Wings in midday action. Let's pick that one up in the second period. Brock Nelson opens up the scoring with a wicked deflection. Take another look here. Oh, great hands there from Nelson. 1-0 Islanders. They double their lead later in the second period on the power play. Josh Bailey bangs home the rebound. 2-0 Isles. And then 2 is good, but thrice, that's nice. Marek Zidlicki finishing with some sweet hands in front. Take another look here. Not bad for a 39-year-old. The Red Wings would get a goal back, but the Islanders would add another as well. They go on to win 4-1.